buddy Chris Dempsey, the birthday boy. Happy birthday. Nuggets got you a gift. And Christopher Marlowe.
Mine's in September.
All right, we'll remember that. Fellas, the last time these teams played in Denver in a playoff game, it ended a little differently. The Nuggets found a way tonight. Again, and it didn't start great. They were down 10 in the first quarter. Where did they find their inspiration to come back and win that game?
Yeah, so I just think sometimes you get punched in the gut a little bit before you punch back. And I thought for the Nuggets, that first quarter was Minnesota really just imposing its will on this basketball game. And then into that second quarter, into the third, it was the Nuggets really punching back. And I thought the aggressiveness level went through the roof. The defense in the third especially went through the roof. They just competed a whole lot harder. And once they started to do those things, the talent started to separate this game out.
Yeah, that first quarter was rough. Jokic was playing the facilitator, trying to get everybody involved, and the Nuggets weren't hitting. Minnesota was playing well. I thought the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter, the Nuggets got in there and they started playing better. Got a little more aggressive on offense, a little more aggressive on defense. And I thought they held their own, and they got to halftime, and then in the third quarter, where Jokic started to pick it up. And that's where I think the game really turned.
All right, they shifted gears in the second quarter. Jeep shifting gears presented. In the second quarter, they scored 39 after being down 10 at the end of the first. They brought it, and you can thank the bench, guys. The bench gave them that spark. They were +6 in the non-Jokic minutes to start that second quarter. Jamal played a heavy hand in that, but the bench players came to ball early in this game.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, look, they start the second quarter for the majority of them do. And, one of the things that I think is a key in this series is the Nuggets bench's ability for the bench to win that battle. Look, Minnesota brings off Ayo Dosunmu, obviously Naz Reid, who can fill it up a little bit when he gets going, and then Bones Highland. But it's a bench, though, that you can take advantage of, and you can do that from a scoring standpoint, and I thought the Nuggets did a really nice job there.
I hate to bury the lead, but someone in the pregame show said, hey, what's your key to the game? What's going to do it for the Denver Nuggets? His name was Jamal Murray. He carried the ball until Jokic took over. So I thought Jamal Murray was +13, the highest Nugget on the night, and I just thought he was amazing.
Yeah, well, Jamal Murray, what's crazy about his stat line, he didn't shoot the ball all that well. 7 for 22, 0 for 8 from 3, but he was 16 for 16 from the foul line, locked in. And he's with our Katie Wingy as we speak. Let's go downstairs.
All right, Jamal, you've seen that team so many times. You knew what this would be. How did you go out there and execute your game plan today?
We just fed off the crowd. We knew it was going to be, that's why we work for home court advantage, to have you guys here. So, appreciate you guys.
You talked this week about playing free, about playing your game when you stepped out there.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we are talking about the Denver Nuggets and their Game 1 victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Nuggets won 116-105. They were down 10 in the first quarter. They found a way to come back. And the post-game interviews from Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Bruce Brown tell the story of a team that knows how to take a punch and punch back. Let me break it all down. The Nuggets got punched in the gut early. Minnesota was imposing its will in the first quarter. But then the second quarter came, and the Nuggets started punching back. The aggressiveness level went through the roof. The defense in the third quarter, especially, went through the roof. They just competed a whole lot harder. Once they started to do those things, the talent started to separate this game out. The bench was a huge spark. The bench gave them that spark in the second quarter. They were +6 in the non-Jokic minutes to start that second quarter. Jamal Murray played a heavy hand in that, but the bench players came to ball early in this game. Bruce Brown was instant energy. He finished with 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 steals. He said their job as the second unit is to keep it even or give them some energy, and that is what they did tonight. Jamal Murray was the key. He carried the ball until late, until Jokic took over. Murray was +13, the highest Nugget on the night. What is crazy about his stat line is that he did not shoot the ball all that way. He was 7 for 22, 0 for 8 from 3. But he was 16 for 16 from the foul line. He was locked in. He got fouled so much he never got into a shooting rhythm. But at the free throw line, he was cooking. After the game, Jamal Murray spoke with Katie Winch. He said they fed off the crowd. They knew that is what they work for, home court advantage. When asked about playing free and playing his game, he said it is just experience. In the first game of the playoffs, you have all this adrenaline, nerves, excitement. He just came out relaxed, did what he does, and played aggressive. He said Game 1 is not a feel-out game. It is the most important game of the series. It sets the tone. That is why you work for home court advantage, to win this game right here. Nikola Jokic was asked about where they found their inspiration to come back. He said sometimes you get punched in the gut a little bit before you punch back. He thought for the Nuggets, that first quarter was Minnesota really just imposing its will. Then into the second quarter, into the third, it was the Nuggets really punching back. The aggressiveness level went through the roof. The defense in the third, especially, went through the roof. They just competed a whole lot harder. Once they started to do those things, the talent started to separate this game out. The analysts noted that Jokic was playing the facilitator in the first quarter, trying to get everybody involved, and the Nuggets were not hitting. Minnesota was playing well. The first 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter, the Nuggets got in there and started playing better. They got a little more aggressive on offense, a little more aggressive on defense. They held their own and got to halftime. Then in the third quarter, Jokic started to pick it up. That is where the game really turned. Jokic finished with another triple-double. 25 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. He proved to be the closer. He is so gracious and generous. He wants to get everybody involved. He wants to get everybody an assist. But once he puts his mind to it, it is off to the races. He only attempted 4 shots in the first half. He was a little passive. Then in the third quarter, he just got right straight to the rim. His first 2 points in the paint came in the third quarter. He forced the issue to the rim, where they really just cannot guard him at all. Bruce Brown was interviewed as well. He had 8 points, 7 rebounds, 5 steals. He said their job as the second unit is to keep it even or give them some energy, and that is what they did tonight. He said the playoffs are super physical. Minnesota is a super physical team. They are going to hold, they are going to grab, but they cannot react. They just got to play their game. When asked about his energy, he said he was always like this, a little too much candy. He takes pride in his availability. He was the only Nugget to play in all 82 games this year. He said his goal was to play every single game, even if he is bruised up, nicked up, just push through it and get out there and hoop. The analysts discussed how the Nuggets' defense held Minnesota to 17 points in the third quarter. They just locked them down. The energy and effort were better. Minnesota felt a little bit of the pressure and the atmosphere. Ball Arena was crazy. It was electric. The fans were unbelievable, and they just kind of succumbed to the pressure. The Nuggets showed a greater attention to detail and a greater level of energy defensively, starting in the paint. They just did not have a bunch of Minnesota players roaming in the paint doing what they want, finishing at the rim, or creating shots for others like they did in the first half. Passes just were not getting through 2 and 3 sets of arms. That ball was getting deflected, stolen, and then they were running back the other way. The analysts also talked about the matchup between Nikola Jokic and Rudy Gobert. Jokic had a triple-double, but Rudy Gobert played pretty stern defense against Jokic today, especially in the first half. Whether it was Jokic being a little bit more passive or Rudy being a little bit more aggressive, maybe it is just a combination of both. That kind of tailed off as the game went on, as Jokic decided he wanted to get more aggressive. Then the Nuggets started running some pretty fun stuff in order to get him a little bit more space. One analyst said that Rudy Gobert was happy in the first quarter and the first half that Jokic was playing the facilitator and not trying to score. Once Jokic got it rolling and started to score, Rudy was basically helpless. The Timberwolves coach, Chris Finch, was asked about the lack of composure down the stretch. He said they had a lack of ball movement, especially in the third quarter. They only had 1 assist in the first 9 minutes of the third. Everyone was trying to get themselves going a little bit. The ball did not move. They played a lot of shell offense, a lot of guys stuck on the perimeter, not punching any gaps, no movement. It really cost them because it led to a lot of easy baskets for the Nuggets, being able to run out of their poor offense. Rudy Gobert was asked about how he tried to approach Jokic. He said he tried to make him work, try to bother him as much as he can, and be aggressive on the other hand. He said Jokic is probably one of the best defensive players in the history of the game, so it is always a fun challenge. Jaden McDaniels said after the game, "If Rudy plays like that, we are going to win the series." Gobbert finished with 17 points and 10 rebounds. But the Nuggets won the game. One analyst pointed out that Gobbert was the recipient of really good offense early from Minnesota that would collapse the defense, and they would just throw it up at the rim or dump it down to him and then he would dunk. He was not an overwhelming offensive player more so than taking advantage of opportunities. The analysts also discussed the chippy play. Aiden McDaniel's two-hand shoved Jokic out of bounds. They called it a dirty play. He could have shoved him right into the photographers, and it could have been an injury. It was not called. What started that? It just came out of nowhere. He is just frustrated. One analyst noted that this is the kind of stuff you usually get late in a series after they have seen each other so many times and are really sick of each other. If you are getting this kind of stuff now, you have to wonder, if you are Chris Finch, you got to get the mindset of your players back in the right space. If they are two-hand pushing Nikola Jokic in Game 1, what are they doing in Game 3 and Game 4? This is going to get more intense, more testy. There is going to be more physicality. The Nuggets have now won 13 straight games. They are on a roll. They have the best three-point shooting team in the NBA, but tonight they were only 10 for 36, 27%. Jamal Murray was 0 for 8 from 3, and he is a 42% three-point shooter. That is going to flip soon. Minnesota will have to deal with multiple games where the Nuggets make 15 or more three-pointers. Can they survive that? It is difficult. So here is my question to you in the comments. Can the Nuggets sweep the Timberwolves? And is Jamal Murray the most underrated playoff performer in the NBA? Let me know. I read every single comment. As always, like, subscribe, hit that bell. We are building something special here. I will see you in the next one.